for the Syracuse Urban Renewal Agency. I am Councilor Green, and I'm joined by Councilors Bay, Driscoll, Hogan, and Peniagua. So we'll turn it over to the administration to give the budget presentation.
Hello, Councilors. Michael Collins, Commissioner of Neighborhood and Business Development. I also have with us Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens, John Vavanese, who runs all of our finances for NBD, and Commissioner Brad O'Connor is either on or joining.
He's here.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, Commissioner. I was looking for name, and you're actually here by face. So together we're talking about the different ways in which SURA contributes or is part of the city budget. SURA is a public benefit corporation, so their own board, which is made up of Commissioner O'Connor as the treasurer, President Hudson as vice president, Mayor as president, and myself as secretary. So the board actually approves its own budget. But we wanted to talk with you today about the positions, the way that it fits in with the overall budget, and anything else, any other parts of this that we'd like to be able to talk about. Starting with that, we've got positions across multiple different departments. Since the Urban Renewal Agency is a public benefit corporation designed for the purpose of making the city better, what you would find is that the overwhelming majority of those positions are NBD positions and other ancillary positions that go to the work of neighborhood and business development, and therefore to the work of supporting our neighborhoods. Overall.
Michael, I will add that Council, I sent you, as I did last year, a summary of the positions comparing 2020 to the positions that we'll have moving forward in 2021.
So does everybody have that? Yeah,
we received the email, but just for clarity, there's no page in the book that outlines any of this. It's just in the email that was sent, Deputy.
Yeah, it's not included in the book, so that's why I always send you guys this document so that you can see.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So going through that document, what you see is a lot of code enforcement, a lot of neighborhood and business development, and some associated law, finance. Those types of positions. But overall, we're looking at a total of 58 positions that should be on the budget for this upcoming year. We're comparing that to 63 for last year. Trying to generally keep that steady and slowly coming down. With that, since this is largely, I want to turn it over to Deputy Mayor from here, but this is the part of it that I know the council is usually most concerned with, and we wanted to be able to speak to why those positions are there and answer any questions.
Mute button. I think we should, Brad, we should go with you to talk about the organization finances.
Sure. So the organization, it's a related entity, independently governed, as Commissioner Collins mentioned. There are three funds on SURA: the New York State Assistance Fund, the Revolving Fund, and the Development Fund. All of the activity with the city of Syracuse is on the Revolving Fund. These are three distinct funds for SURA. The funds are kept separate. The activities are kept separate. The Revolving Fund, the 58 employees that you see on the list here, they are employees of SURA's Revolving Fund. And of the 58, I think about 49 or 50 of them are working in some capacity for the general fund. What SURA does is SURA pays the salaries and benefits to these employees. Those amounts are then billed back monthly to the department that these employees are working for. You'll see in the budget, what Deputy Mayor sent you is not included in the budget. Where this flows through the budget is on the professional services line on each department's budget. You may remember on the finance department budgets, we saw a couple of the departments that had amounts there. That's where both the salary and fringe benefits are passing through to the city. Any questions on how those funds flow from SURA to the city? We can't hear you, Councilor Hogan.
Brad, I'll ask a simple question then. So there's no other financial entity that funds SURA besides the city, or is there?
The revolving fund is funded exclusively by the city. The other two funds are funded by New York State, or sometimes there are county grants. There are other funds. There are some activities, some business development type activities that SURA is engaged in that it gets money from elsewhere. But the revolving fund is entirely funded by the city.
So, I mean, everybody who works for the city is funded out of that revolving fund, which is just a name designation of city money, correct?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, the money comes basically from all city. It comes from city money, and it's the revolving fund is just what we've titled it, correct?
These are SURA employees, so it's a distinct organization. So they're not city employees. Essentially, it's as far as the city is concerned, it's a related independent contractor.
I think for clarity though, on a matter of questions, our questions relative to SURA was always about moving people from SURA payroll. That's what the questions have always been. We understand how the money revolves and the like. We also know that it does show up in the 415 line in our book, in the back of the book. I just wanted to clarify that, Brad. That just your earlier question about any questions about how it moves. Just historically, we've always talked about moving people off SURA payroll.
Councilors, if I may, and just to add one point of clarification to Councilor Hogan's question. So many of the salaries related to SURA positions are also funded through grants that are acquired through NBD. So for a significant portion of these, the city is able to not have to support the full expense of having these positions on the city payroll. And Councilor Bay, to your point, this is we had 63 on there current fiscal year. We're looking at 58 this year. So we do continue to work towards that goal and have success with it.
One of the major changes was when we moved our inspectors from codes into civil service. So we shifted them out of the SURA payroll.
So what percentage of the budget is that what Michael mentioned, funded through grants?
About a third of it is.
If I could jump in, John Vavanese from NBD. According to our budget, our entire department budget, we have about 1.3 million covered by other sources that would be offset against or subtracted from what the city actually pays back for the SURA employees. That would be, as Commissioner Collins mentioned, are the other grants that go through NBD like CDBG, ESG, also the business agencies like SIDA and SEDCO.
So there's money from grants that pay part of the salaries. Would anything prevent those salaries being paid the same way if all these people were on the regular city payroll?
It would not, Counselor, but I will say this. One, I understand, and it precedes me, how it was created when I was a youngster. But the one thing that it does allow us is the specificity of, sometimes we want to hire individuals that have a understanding of particular neighborhoods or may have come from those neighborhoods and find this as an opportunity to engage in city work. Civil service makes that very difficult to hire on individuals who have those particular qualities that you want for neighborhood engagement and neighborhood planning. One of the things that we talked about with the code inspectors is moving them to civil service, because you have to know the building code. That's general building law that you need to know. Even though we were trying to recruit even more people from neighborhoods to be code inspectors, getting past that civil service. The Parks Department is another good example. You know, we have one employee now because the other retired, but that other employee was amazingly critical to just the work that he was able to do in the Parks Department. And that individual that's on this list right now does amazing work with our seniors, knowing that population for so many years. And quite frankly, I don't think that she would pass the civil service exam.
I think that's a good point, Deputy Mayor, but I'm, just looking over the list you sent us, I don't think any of these, I know there used to be a lot of folks like you described, but outside of this one or two isolated parks people, I don't see many folks in here that would fit under that criteria, really, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I would put the planners, for example, in that category. The planners understanding and knowing communities, I think, is critical.
Yeah.
But to your initial question, the answer is no.
Okay. Thank you.
In the large part, I think many counselors over the years have been aware of the value of SURA as a payroll source, because you didn't have the civil service restrictions that allowed you to give other people opportunity. That was one of the things that I think made many counselors say, well, okay, but this has always been a tricky circumstance.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, we definitely have heard that, it should not be just a place where, and I mean, just frankly, for, political favors and that type of thing. And I've heard that to be the history, and we absolutely understand and buy into that notion, that understanding. So, which is why we have been really purposeful to look at the SURA payroll for those individuals engaged in neighborhood revitalization efforts. And there are some anomalies on this list from that mission.
Oh, I'll be frank with, I worked for the Parks Department many years, and a lot of those, what you're saying describes a lot of great workers that we had in the Parks Department. But it seems to me, just looking at these lists, that it's different than it used to be as far as that criteria goes. So.
A few of the people we had retired, so we didn't replace and put more people on SURA. We're just, as the list is shrinking, we're leaving it. We're letting it. That's what's going on. That's why that number is reducing.
So, Counselor, if I recall from conversations you and I have had in the past, the list of employees used to be significantly longer. And so, right, so as that's narrowed down, you're getting down now to, you know, the ones that are here for the purpose of the business of an urban renewal agency. And so, yeah, there's not as much to be able to trim out going, hey, there's no reason for this particular position or that particular position to have anything to do with urban renewal. A lot of that has been cleared out over the years.
My question's more as far as clarity than it was a critique at all right now. So thank
Understood.
you.
Other questions from councilors on
So
this? Commissioner, anything else you want to share on SURA?
From MBD standpoint, I think if you are all comfortable with questions we've answered, I'm good. I don't want to speak for Commissioner O'Connor though.
Nothing else from me, thanks.
I will just add that we absolutely see a heightened role for SURA as we look at the stimulus money, look at redevelopment opportunities we have in our community, particularly around housing. Because the SURA target area is very much in line with where we want to focus some attention around housing and neighborhood development.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. It's 12:17, so we'll close this hearing and talk to you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you.